Hello gamers, Pet here. Welcome to a review for a game called Frostpunk, a game that I've been tracking for some time now, but only recently I was able to play it. It's 2:30 a.m., so I'm going to be a little bit, I'm not going to be that excited. It's not because of the game, it's because of the late hour. So if I speak too, too quiet, it's because of that. But Frostpunk, yeah, the reason why I finally was able to test the game is because the game is available on Origin Premier Access or Origin Access Premier or something like that. It's that subscription-based model where for 15 euros per month you get access to 100 and something games, and one of those games is Frostpunk, and I was like, yeah, okay, now is my chance to finally test the game. The game is about 30 euros if you want to purchase it, I believe, if it's not on a sale or something. And it's not like a huge price, but it was enough for me to be a little bit like, I'm going to wait it. Even that I love this type of games, this game kind of gave me a feeling that it's going to be not too hard, but too refined. Like, well, most of the times with this type of game is that the game itself, it's about you experimenting uh, on how you discover the mechanics, where you put the buildings, what's going to happen when you put the building, what you are going to unlock later, which you are not going to know until you finally unlock or build something, and stuff like that, basically, which is exactly the case. That's what happened here. Uh, but I have like 7 hours into the game, so it is not going to be like a full proper review where I show you everything. It's more like me sharing some impressions, and maybe you're going to figure it out if this is a game you like or not. So Frostpunk, it's kind of like a management survival game where you have like I'm not sure exactly like how to put the story. The story is intriguing a bit, but basically there are like refugees that there is winter everywhere, and you are um, going to build again around a generator, and you're going to have to manage resources like coal and how much you build, and you buildings are not going to be allowed. Let's just start. I'm going to resume. It's 34. I have no idea. I haven't played this game in this particular save in 3 weeks or so, but I think it's going to be a pretty good example, and hopefully everything works fine. I'm still experimenting with the recording settings, and yeah. So it is like the third or the fourth time when I'm reaching this number of days, right? The first time I believe that let's actually pause. The first time I stopped when I reached day 20 or something like that, and then I improved, and then I stopped when I reached the day 25. This is when shit hits the fan, and there are like way too many things going on, and it's very very cold, -17 as you can see. And if you click it, you can see this is where the heat comes from, and I'm building around that basically. And because it's that cold, you need to unlock. Let me show you. Have economy. Nah, this is just the stats. Where was that? Okay, this is the technology tree where you improve the heating and the generator, and then I played some more, and I've learned that by this time I really need to have, I don't know, the improved heaters or something. And then I started again, and by hour 7 of me playing this, I was like a bit like, yeah, okay, that's enough. It's like way too. And I noticed that there are people who are like really, like with any game, even if there is a game that you don't like, there will be people who will love the game. So again, it's nothing wrong with this game, it's just that me and the way I played, for me it was enough 7 hours to enjoy this game, and I don't want to perfect in anything. But there were people who were like doing challenges where they supposed to build no clinics and so on. So basically, the way it works, like this is like, as I said, day number 34. I'm getting those buildings are not really working out. I'm burning a lot of resources per second call just to keep everything running, and it's becoming very stressful, which is a perk for a game to give you stress in the good way, right? So let's actually go back to the menu. Oh, by the way, the game is made by 11-bit studios, I believe. How are they called again? Yeah, 11-bit studios, and I believe that they first became known for the Anomaly Wars on Earth, which is that game where it's a tower defense game, but you don't play with the towers, you play with the wave, which is an interesting concept. And then they become pretty popular with the this War of Mine games. So yeah, they have, as you can see, the game looks incredibly polished, and the visuals and the setting, the game design and the art direction, they are really, really top notch. So let's actually select the scenario. This is the main story, which is basically this map. One thing that they've done is that they've added more maps right now, and there is even a pass. They've added an endless mode, and then there are some expansions that you can, buy if you buy the season pass, which give you even more maps. And those maps are basically, kind of like challenges, because some of them have bridges, some of them don't have that much wood, and you need to adapt. But again, if we want to do that, you need to learn the game basically. So there is a high learning curve. So this is the story.
Rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress, until the frost stopped it all, suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class.
Anyway, it's a very dark game on how it's presented. I think they have this thing for dark games, which is nice, because not many people challenge you and put you in a spot where you are actually going to think about it. Like in this War of Mine, you were there thinking about the war stories. When you are playing this game, you are thinking about how are those people going to survive in this frost, where everything, people are just freezing to death, and you need to keep the generator alive, and you feel the importance of the generator. It's a bit hard to explain. So this is how the game starts. Everything evolves around the generator, which basically starts. Let's pause this. When you are going to build a tent, for example, everything, as you can see, builds around the center, right? So if I'm building units over here, those are like the first level. If I'm building over here, this is like the second level, right? And this matters. As you can see, it's how much heat from the center the generator is going to be able to spread. And again, it's going to be a little bit challenging, because it's going to spend more resources to have steam at level 4, and put it in overdrive so you can survive really bad weather. So right now it's -20, which is still pretty fine, but then, as you saw in that first save, when it gets to -70, you really need to be prepared, and so on. And for example, health, I have a medical post. You really want to put this on the first level, because if it's over here, you're not going to be able to hit it, and when -40 is going to reach, if you don't have that insulation part for those type of buildings, your medical post is not going to work. And if people spend up time going, for example, I'm going to put 15 people to work on those on those resources. As you can see, they are actually going out, and I can go and click people, and you see this is the guy, this is another guy. Well, you can see where is his home, who are his children, who is his spouse. You can click to locate his spouse, and so on. It's giving you like it doesn't have to, like, it's not the type of game where you are going to get invested in Edwin Cook. It doesn't matter, but it's there, and it's giving you like a little bit more a more level of depth when it comes to personalizing this whole experience of those people trying to survive, right? Now, if those people are going like it's -20, it's going to be fine. If when night comes, they will of course not going to work, because the night shift and so on. they only work between 8 and 6 p.m. or something like that. The thing is, if it catches them when it's cold and they are out, they have a risk of getting medical, gravely ill, and so on. So you need to build a medical post, and if so, they won't be able to work if you are not going to be able to treat. And one of the problems that you need to deal with it is the health of people. That of course you have to deal with food, and then of course you have to deal with resources. To gather stuff, wood, like for example, wood is very important early on, and then steel, and then you have those steam cores, right? And then you also have this tech where you are going to be able um, to progress technologically and unlock other type of buildings. Another thing that's very important in this game is the book of laws, which gives you a bit of dystopian feeling to this game, mostly because right now it's we are on the adaptation, right, where, for example, emergency shift is something that you want to unlock early on. Sometimes we have to concentrate on the task at hand and at the cost of everything else, or die. New ability: you can force workers in any facility to work for the next 24 hours. Using the emergency shift will rise this content. This content will rise light. So I'm going to sign this thing, right? And as you can see, I have this content and I have hope. This content just rise a bit. If I tell them to work for if I'm going to press this button, it's not going to work right now, but if I'm going to press this button on other business, I will be able to force them to work for 24 hours. And of course, it's going to be a little bit of a management between this content, hope, and the other laws that I can sign, right? Here I can unlock cemetery, which is going to rise hope a bit. Other stuff I can put children to labor, right? Or provide child shelters. That way the children they will be safe in a place, and there won't be any accidents with the children. And it's really going to give you a little bit of thinking process. The game really challenges and tackles a lot of those problems. Let's actually, I want to load this game again on day 34 because I can show you some more stuff there, like when it comes to laws. Let's pause. Like right now, the adaptation, as you can see, I have more of those decrease laws, or how the hell you call it. And then I chose to go on purpose, which is like the main idea with purpose was that people need like a purpose, so they would be united under the same purpose. It's kind of like a totalitarian idea, and I was like, okay, let's roll with it with this game, where I have a neighborhood watch, morning gatherings, for example. We'll gather each morning to make sure our goals and priority for each day are clear to everyone. It's like a daily stand-up. We do this at work every day. Yeah. Anyway, foreman appointing responsible foreman will make sure that people work as efficiently as possible. Hey, my team lead is like that. Oh man. Anyway, propaganda center, as you can see, everything, and I believe I signed this. Yes, I signed the new order. So yeah, the reason why I'm sure this, even that I call this a review, is kind of like all over the place. It's mostly me talking about the game. I could have just skipped and not make this video, but I wanted to talk about what this game does. Amazing! Like for example, when there is this balloon. I believe this is a hunter's barrack. Where did I place that building? There is a building that allows you to actually send scouts, and those scouts you'll be able to send them on the map. As you can see, this is a scout that I'm sending them over here, and when they reach this area, I'm going to unlock a little bit of a story. There is an interesting thing happening over here. Those are survivors that are going to reach me in 2 days, which is one of the reasons why the game keeps throwing at you, keeps throwing at you, which is a hard game in a way, but it was an enjoyable one. So yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of stuff that that are happening over here, and it was a very interesting game. So anyway, I've been rambling for 15 minutes about this game. If you love this type of management games, give it a try. And even if you don't, if you like stories and if you like, the game really does a good job on putting you in control of some people, and even if those people are just, you know, like pixels on screens, it's going to give you like a weird feeling on how you have to deal with the laws, with the research, with keeping this thing alive, and you are really going to feel the generator on and the importance of the generator. And when you're not going to have resources and everything is going to shut down, you are going to feel that you're like, holy shit, I need coal right now, people, because people are going to freeze. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. See you soon. Goodbye.